Welcome to another episode of Parents Who Write. So today I am going to be talking about my big goal for 2024. And it's interesting because I actually, before choosing my goal for this year, I took some time to reflect and look back on previous years. I don't know if you're like me, but I tend to always look forward and be like, what's the next thing that I need to work on? What's the next achievement I need to reach? What's the next milestone or just concrete thing that I need to do? And if we are only ever looking forward, those goalposts are constantly moving forward with us, right? So if we're only ever looking forward, all we see is the stuff we have yet to do. So before choosing my big 2024 goal, I took some time to look back. And this is what I realized. 2022 was my year for relearning who I am beyond being mom. My youngest started preschool, part-time preschool. He was in school for 3 hours a day. And I used that opportunity to lean into this community and to get back to my roots as an editor. And that was an extremely challenging time because I didn't realize it, but I had started to shed my identity as an at-home parent, but my child was still home most of the time. So I was overworking myself tremendously. And on one hand, it was great because I had all this drive and motivation. I was excited and I finally knew what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be and all that stuff. But I was cramming in 40 hours, 50 hours of work every week between my child being in preschool 3 hours every day and then like working from 8 o'clock at night until 2 in the morning. It was not my healthiest year, but it was amazing in the fact that I felt closer to being myself. So that was awesome. And then last year, 2023, was about building up my editing clientele and learning how to be an author myself and learning the ins and outs of self-publishing. And another big milestone for me last year was that my littlest started kindergarten. So all of a sudden, in September, I had this additional time during the day where I wasn't racing between picking him up and dropping him off and doing things with him and play dates and etc. Like now I had a somewhat normal 30-hour work week available to me. But that only started in September. And so part of my looking back on the previous year is I make a list of what I accomplished. And part of it was, yes, my kiddo starting kindergarten. But when I made a tally of the other stuff that I did in terms of being an editor and an author and a podcaster, I released 31 podcast episodes. I edited 10 novels for clients. I wrote 240,000 words between book 1 and 2 of my own series. I released my first book. Hot dog. I can call myself an author. And I made my own author dream finally come true this year. So it still wasn't my healthiest year, given that the majority of that, my kiddo was still in preschool and I was working these crazy hours. So taking all of that into consideration with 2024, my big focus for 2024 is to grow my author business because that is who I have wanted to be since I can remember, since I was playing with Barbie and I was, coming up with stories on the playground with my friends about aliens attacking us. And it's hysterical because looking back at it, I also realized how much all of those stories were like romance and fantasy in nature. So this year is all about growing my author business. What does that mean for parents who write? Well, there's 2 ways that I'm going about this with growing my author business, okay? The first one is put more books out there. So that's going to be fun. I know what I'm doing. I'll share that in a minute. And my second way to make that happen is learning about the indie author publishing industry, trying to put myself out there, wrap my mind around all of the ins and outs that come with that. And so when we are picking our main goal for the year, the steps that we take underneath that, the efforts that we're putting in throughout the year, we want to make sure that they all drive toward and align with that primary goal that is going to help us get there. Because I wear a lot of hats between editor, writer, podcaster, and mom, right? In addition to others, not to diminish being a wife by any means. I love my husband profusely. But there's a lot there. And so it helps to just have that one primary focus that I can then filter through and say, okay, if I'm thinking about doing XYZ, how does that help me with my one primary goal for the year? So again, my big goal for the year is to grow my author business. So looking at part one of that, where I said was getting more books out there. I'm aiming to release 4 books this year. Woot woot. This is following All Right Well, Maria Secoy's 4 books a year method. I have my schedule set up. I'm releasing book 2 of my series this February. And then my goal is to release something 3 months after that for each one. And I've got this figured out. I'm already starting book 3. I'll get more into how all of this works, but I put together my schedules because getting more books out there is obviously one of the most important aspects to grow my business and my career as an author this year. So I've got my outline set up. I've got my dates. I've got my deadlines. And I'm just super excited to be leaning into what it is that I am the most passionate about, right? So, right now, or how this is going to help in terms of with parents who write and with you guys, I'm going to be sharing my progress with you throughout the year, showing where I'm at, what I'm working on, how I'm getting over the hurdles that I am facing, so you can get a glimpse into what this is like. And, hopefully that will inspire you to continue pursuing your own author dreams. So fun times. How am I making this work as a parent who writes? Getting 4 books out per year. It can be done. In fact, I know that it can be done now. So I'm staggering a bunch of things. Basically, the biggest difference with when I was working toward my master's was, that's complicated. I sound like, there was a lot of emphasis about focusing on one project from start to finish. And what I'm learning is what I have learned is how to stagger what it is that I'm working on. So what does that mean for right now? While my book 2 is with my proofreader, I am already outlining book 3. And I'm already in discussion. Well, I'm going back and forth with my cover designer. We're so close to nailing down the cover for book 2. I can't wait to see it. But yeah, I'm already working on book 3. I backed myself into a corner with book 2. I took off 2 months to just kind of be sick and relax. But I had a deadline for book 2, and I kept thinking like, oh, I've got time. It's going to be fine. Yeah, no. I then all of a sudden, like, it came November and I was like, oh, I need to get my book to my proofreader at the beginning of January. That gives me 2 months to revise 120,000 words. Oh no. So November and December, I feel like I didn't breathe. I feel like I didn't come up from the computer keyboard. And Christmas was a blur this year, which is sad to think about. I mean, we had a great Christmas. I took Christmas Day off, spent it with the family, like I was present with them. My prime rib came out amazing. Anybody wants a great prime rib recipe, reach out to me. I'm happy to share it. It was easy and phenomenal. But it was too much. So with book 3, I'm being much more mindful in terms of when it's due to my proofreader, when I'm getting copies to my beta readers. I'm basically working backwards with my goal this time, and how many words I need to edit per week so that I don't burn myself out at the end. So that's what's going on with me in the writing author side of things. The second part of that, my 2 primary methods for growing my author business is, as I said, learning the ins and outs of the publishing industry, the indie publishing industry. And I'm not going to lie, this is daunting to me. I don't have a background in business. I don't have a background in marketing. And so the idea of navigating all of those pieces and trying to stay up to date with news and who's at the top of the industry and just what's going on is overwhelming to me. My ADHD brain tends to freak out at the thought of trying to keep an eye on so many moving pieces. So I had to find a way to make this goal measurable and achievable. And first let me say, it's very important that we have smart, achievable, and measurable goals. I talked about this in last week's episode about how to set realistic writing goals for the new year. I really hope you take a look at that episode because it talks a lot about this stuff in more detail. But when I looked at how to make learning the indie author publishing industry manageable for me, I decided that, okay, I identified the sources that I needed to check with, like Facebook groups and who are the major players and how to follow them on social media, and made a list of podcast episodes that I also want to follow for other fellow indie author podcasters, and books that I want to read, etc. So there's tons of resources out there, right? But again, my ADHD brain can get very overwhelmed thinking about all of that. So instead, I broke it down into measurable chunks where my goal is every month to be reading at least 1, if not 2, professional development books. So maybe that's being more effective with my newsletter. Maybe that's brain stopped working. What are the things I need to know? Marketing tips, different ways to sell your books. I can't think of anything else. I know there's tons of stuff, right? This is why I make a list of it, because otherwise my brain just gets overwhelmed and boggled down. So my goal is to read at least 1 to 2 books per month, listen to a podcast episode from a different podcaster, hopefully once a week. I'm going to start off with every other week just so I can see what's measurable and doable, because I don't want to set myself up for failure. I want to set myself up for success. And I have a tendency to be an overachiever, so I'm trying to back off just a little bit. And then the other thing I'm looking for once a month is a free opportunity for me to participate in. So whether that's a workshop that's available, whether that's an email campaign that people have going out, whatever that's offering free tips that's going to help me. So with these goals in mind, that means that during my podcast episodes, I am going to be able to talk about this stuff with you guys and share what it is that I have learned from that. And so I'm, again, just trying to share with you my author journey, both on the writing side of things and just navigating every aspect of the author journey, because it's multifaceted and it changes so much. Back in the day, Facebook was the thing for your organic marketing, and then it became TikTok. I can't do TikTok. I'm sorry, everybody else there who does TikTok and you make that work. You are awesome. Trying to keep up with that algorithm, it triggered my anxiety. So I have never been a TikToker. I mean, I tried I think for a month and too much anxiety. Plus I want to spend my time writing, not creating TikTok videos. So that's the reason why I'm not on TikTok. Again, everybody else who's doing it, you keep rocking at that. But right now, everything is trending toward Threads, Instagram's new Threads app. So, I'm giving that a go. That's low stress for me to post something in there, try to reach people that way. But I'll see how that goes. I'll let you guys know. So there you go. At the end of the day, I really hope that me sharing all of these bits and pieces are going to inspire you to continue with your author journey. If you have questions, please let me know. What is it that you're curious to know more about? What is it that overwhelms you? What is your primary goal for 2024? Do you know what steps you're going to take to get there? If you are looking for support with your writing and you want some guidance and to not keep going it alone, schedule a discovery call with me. It's a free 30-minute call where we talk about your goals and we will identify them. And then I will be able to recommend options to you based on those goals and help get you where you want to go. That's it for today. Thank you for joining me. And as always, keep writing.